How to build confidence and know your worth. In this video, we're going to go deep into what really creates self-confidence. It's Sabrina, your personal love advisor from A New Mode, the channel where we show you how love actually works. Being confident is the key to success in all areas of your life. But it's not enough to just say, be confident. Like, okay, yeah, great. What does that mean? What does that entail? You need to know what confidence truly means and how to build it. We live in a very image-obsessed world, so it's very easy to fall into the trap of thinking that just looking good is enough to be worthy and to feel good about yourself. But unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. Confidence and worth does not come from how many followers you have on Instagram, how many people give you a fire emoji under your pictures, and it does not come from how you look. I'm going to share exactly what it takes to build your confidence and build your sense of self-worth. I'm going to share some really valuable tips, so make sure you watch this video all the way till the end. Real quick, if you like this video and find it helpful, please tap that like button. It takes less than a second. Such a quick, such an easy way to help me out and help me grow my channel. So I'm gonna give you a second right now to do that. Okay, thanks for that. Also make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you get notified whenever I post new videos. If you want more relationship advice, life advice, confidence advice, make sure to follow me on Instagram at A New Mode and also subscribe to the A New Mode newsletter. You can sign up at anewmode.com/subscribe. I will also link it down below. It is pure gold and it is delivered straight to your inbox every day. You will get relationship tips, life advice. Some of them are written by me, some of them are written by my partner, Eric Charles. It's amazing, life-changing advice. I mean, we've had this newsletter for a while and the feedback is just phenomenal. So definitely subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, so before I give you tips, I want to share a little bit about my journey with self-worth. When I was younger, I think I did what a lot of women do. I thought that the way to be confident and have self-worth is to be the hot girl. Like, that's what it takes. And I was like, wasn't a late bloomer. I was like an early bloomer. So I'm pretty tall. I'm like 5'8", which is great as an adult, but as a 12-year-old, being super tall was not so great. I always looked like way older than I actually was. So I was like an undesirable. Like, that's like how I would describe myself. And all my friends were like really cute and really petite and all the boys really liked them. And I always just like felt like a big ogre. And I just never really saw anything redeeming about myself because I disliked what I looked like so much. I feel like I missed out on like getting to appreciate other parts of my personality because I was so focused on the appearance side of things. Now, in looking back, I do think that I like developed my sense of humor and my ability to like give advice like during those years because I was kind of like, I don't know, like, because I was like, you know, the funny friend, the friend who like gave good advice to all my friends who were like having all this boy drama, and I never had any boy drama because I was like the undesirable one. That's the way that I saw the world. And it's easy to see the world like that when you're in middle school, even high school, because you see like, okay, your hot friends get all the male attention, and because they get so much male attention, girls want to be friends with them. Because so many girls want to be friends with them, they always have fun plans and exciting things to do. And because they always have fun things to do, then they're just happier overall and their lives are just perfect. So you just got to be the hot girl, and that's the key to life. Okay, video over. No, just kidding. So for me, it wasn't until I got a little older, I think I was like 17, when like I became the hot girl. Now, being the hot girl, it's not like an objective reality. It's really more of a state of mind. And it's also just a shift in the way people around you perceive you. Like, yeah, I guess certain things about my appearance did change, but all of a sudden, all these guys who had considered me such an undesirable, who made fun of me, who voted me ugliest girl in 7th grade, they all wanted me. And that kind of attention was addictive and destructive because I was like an addict. Like, I needed it. I didn't have a sense of myself at all. I was completely at the mercy of people around me, at, you know, how they thought about me, how I was perceived, especially by men. And if I wasn't getting that validation, I would like degrade myself in order to get it. I was just kind of like this empty shell of a person, you know, like I achieved the looking good on the outside, but I really had nothing going on inside. And that's why, I mean, you hear so many of my stories when I share with you guys about relationships gone wrong, especially like the early years of my life. It was so easy for me to like attract the men, but never to keep them because there was no substance there. So years later, when I was in my early 20s, I developed health problems. And because of that, I didn't look good anymore. All of a sudden my hotness was taken away. My face was puffy. I had like cystic acne all over. I was having health problems. I just like my hair was falling out. It was just not in a good place. It turned out I had celiac, and it was just causing my whole body to go haywire. But because I didn't have like the appearance to fall back on anymore, I had to really work on myself and look at myself and develop myself and work on the insides, from all the way on the inside. I had to heal myself, my health, and I also had to heal myself like emotionally. And even like A New Mode started out as a fashion and beauty website because I had no sense of like being good at anything or being interested in anything other than the fashion and beauty, other than just the appearance. Like that, my whole sense of worth was tied up in that. And then it wasn't until like, I got sick and was working on myself that I realized, I'm a really good writer. I'm really good at giving advice, like life advice. And yeah, I do like giving fashion and beauty advice. I don't really do so much of it anymore, but it didn't give me a sense of purpose or fulfillment. It didn't give me this feeling of like being connected to my essence in the way that writing about my experiences or giving advice did, And I also realized like I'm funny and I'm good at like talking to people. So that just put me in touch with who I am and gave me this sense of purpose and this sense of worth. And that was just the beginning of a journey of really like building up my sense of worth, of stopping to rely on men to tell me who I was, and instead to realize who I was and just know that and be able to carry that and not be at the mercy of everyone around me. It really came down to getting to know myself really well and embracing who I was and accepting things that I didn't necessarily like about myself, but accepting that they were just part of the bigger picture. So that's a little bit about how I got there. But here's the thing with confidence and self-worth. It's not like you cross a finish line and you're done. All right, it's over. The same way that like, you don't like, if you're exercising, you get into really good shape. You don't just say, okay, I'm in good shape now. I guess I don't need to exercise anymore. I've crossed that finish line. No, like if you stop exercising, you're not going to be in good shape for very much longer. It's the same with self-confidence. I mean, overall in general, I do feel like a confident person who knows my worth, but do I feel that way all day, every day? No, nobody does. Do I sometimes have weeks where I like don't feel that way or don't feel that good about myself? Of course. It's a lifelong journey, but you have to be aware of what you need to put in, of the work that you need to put in order to get to a place where it just becomes natural for you to implement these things in your life and feel really good about yourself and have a strong sense of your worth. Okay, so let's get into it and talk about the tips. Number 1, tap into your strengths. Notice I said your strengths, not somebody else's strengths. I always like wanted to be somebody who was very like quiet and soft-spoken. I thought that was like how Kate Middleton is. She's always like so refined and so perfectly spoken. And I was like, I want to be like that. I'm not like that. I'm not wired like that. I am just, whenever I try to make myself small, I'm literally bursting at the seams because that's my personality type. Like I'm loud, I'm bold, I am expressive. And I've accepted that and was able to channel that into something great. I feel like that makes me a little bit more interesting to watch on YouTube. As opposed to being someone who's like, okay, everyone, let's talk about how to love ourselves, Now, our greatest strengths can sometimes be our greatest weaknesses. So that's why we have to work on channeling things in order to optimize them and maximize their power. But we all have strengths. You do have areas where you are really strong. Now look at them and say, how am I using this? Am I channeling this in the right way? Am I using this to really like do something great, to really actualize my potential? Or am I just letting this thing like get in the way? You have to embrace who you are, your inherent nature, and not wish that you were some other way. And we're going to cover that more later. Number 2, get out of your comfort zone and challenge yourself in new ways. There is no growth in your comfort zone and no comfort in your growth zone. Unfortunately, I didn't make that up. I found it on Pinterest. I don't know who it's attributed to, but it's true. I'm going to say it again. There is no growth in your comfort zone and there is no comfort in your growth zone. If you want to grow, it's going to be uncomfortable. You have to challenge yourself in new ways. This is how we get in touch with ourselves. This is how we realize what we're made of, what we can do. Coasting is not going to get you there. You have to push yourself and challenge yourself. And when you do, that creates feelings of feeling good about yourself, of learning about yourself. I just started taking a beginner adult ballet class. I've never done ballet in my life, save for like when I was a toddler. But I wanted to do something, some challenge, something. I want to explore something that I'd always wanted to do, but just never did. I mean, I love the movie Center Stage. I think we all watched that and we're like, I wish I was a ballerina. And it's not easy for me. I'm not flexible. I'm so stiff and my body is not a ballerina body after having 3 kids in less than 5 years. But you know what? I do it and I feel so good about myself after. It's a challenge. It's hard, but that's what makes it so great. Even like another challenge for me lately, I lived in New York City for 13 years. We recently in the last year moved to the suburbs, and now I like drive a minivan. And driving was really scary for me in the beginning because I never drove living in the city. So anytime I even have to like push myself to drive, well, I mean, not so much anymore. We've been here for a year, but more in the beginning, like I started feeling good about myself and confident, you know, whenever, especially I'm always like scared of getting lost. I don't know. It's like just one of my fears. I have a horrible sense of direction. Anytime I'm able to get somewhere like and not get lost, I would feel good about myself. Like these things like that you don't necessarily want to do that make you nervous, you know, like I would always want my husband to come with me because I'd be scared to like drive alone. I know this sounds ridiculous, but like if you're a city person, like you understand what I'm saying. Driving is scary when you haven't done it in so long. Anytime I push myself past that, I feel good about myself. So, I mean, I'm using myself as an example a lot here, but I know that you guys can relate to that. It's not easy to push ourselves, but you have to because it's so rewarding. It's so important. Number 3, look the best that you can look. Okay, so I know I opened up this video talking all about how your looks are not going to determine your worth, but we can't discount them completely because the fact is when you look good, you feel good. When you wear an outfit that looks amazing, you just walk with your head held high, your shoulders back, you feel good. And even just standing like that increases your feelings of confidence. Now, what's not going to make you feel good is trying to copy the way Kendall Jenner looks or trying to dress like her, because dressing that way may work for her specific body type, but it does not work for the majority of people out there. You have to look at what you have, what your assets are, what your best facial features are, and work with that because that seeps in and it makes you feel good. Even just like a lot of us are working from home these days. I've always worked from home, but just getting up, getting dressed. You don't have to get dressed so fancy, but just putting yourself together makes you feel better. It has an effect on your insides. It's also important to take care of yourself because when you do, you're saying, I value myself. I'm worthy. One of the signs of depression that you see is they completely stop taking care of themselves. They won't take showers. They don't change their clothes for like days at a time because they've just given up and have this feeling of I'm not worthy. I'm not even worth like getting up and taking a shower. So it's important to, even if you are feeling really low about yourself, to just try and make that effort because you're subconsciously telling yourself like, no, I'm valuable. I'm worth being taken care of. And it's important for me to take care of myself. And I want to do that. And in terms of like the beauty and looking the best you can look, if you're going to start anywhere, start with skincare. Because when your skin looks good, then you look amazing. And we could do more on how to have a glow up if you want. Maybe that's a video I could do. That would definitely be something different. Let me know if that's something you'd want in the comment section. Number 4, don't compare. No one is you and that is your power. It's another quote that I didn't make up. I don't know where it came from, but it's true. No one is you and that is your power. So here's a perspective that I try to take when it comes to the comparisons because it's so hard. We're all on social media. We're all flooded with these curated images of people's perfect lives. And it's how do you not compare yourself to that? And even though like we know on one level, this is just the highlight reel, this is just the filtered version, our brains still can't pick up on the nuances. Like when we see an image, that's what we register. We see an image and we're like, okay, that's that person's reality, even though that we know that it's not reality. The perspective you need to take is that you have been given all the tools you need to be the person that you are meant to be. And that's it. I personally am mediocre at so many things and I'm really good at like one thing. I'm really good at writing. Like that is my power. And I'm kind of like subpar at so many other things that like I wish I was good at. I'm like, sometimes that bothers me. I'm like, I wish I was like better at this. Like I wish I was better at this. Like, like I wish that I was like super talented in all these other areas where I'm like, okay, like moderately talented in these areas. But you know what? Maybe those gifts were just not meant for me. And we all have gifts in different areas. Like some people are brilliant mathematicians, but they like cannot string 2 sentences together to save their lives. Some people, like we all have different talents. Like think about, I look at like people who write music, like Taylor Swift boggles my mind. How does she write that many songs? Like where does it come from? Like most people in the world like don't have that skill, but that's the superpower that she's been given. And we all have it. We have all the tools we need for our lives. Like it also reminds me in college, I was friends with like a bunch of art majors. And like when they were having a bad day, sometimes they would like go up to a rooftop and paint a picture. And I'm like, I wish I could do that. Like I can't draw anything. I can't even like draw a pretty looking heart. I don't need to be an artist in order to fulfill my potential and to be actualized. Like That is just not a skill that I need. And I have to trust that I was made the way I was made and you were made the way that you were made with all the tools that you need to be who you are supposed to be. So there's no point in comparing yourself to somebody else because she was given what she needs and she's on a different path than you, a different journey than you. And one last thing about social media, try as much as you can to just cut out the people who make you feel sad and make you feel drained and only follow the ones that really inspire you and give you valuable tools that you can use to enhance your life. Like my account, follow me at New Mode. Number 5, have boundaries. This is something that's really important. Like, it feels good to let go of situations that are beneath you. It may not feel good in the moment because you really like this guy, even though he's treating you like crap. But when you're able to say, I'm worth more than this, and cut him out and walk away, yeah, it will be painful, but that's how you build self-worth. You do not build self-worth by staying with a guy who treats you like crap, hoping that he sees the light and he sees the error in his ways and he turns it around and all of a sudden realizes how wonderful and valuable you are. Because that is rarely how those stories end. But you don't gain self-worth by desperately trying to prove you're worthy to somebody else. That's how you kill your self-worth and your self-esteem. It builds your sense of worth when you let go of toxic friends, when you let go of toxic relationships, when you call someone out for being disrespectful or for crossing a line. This could be a boyfriend or it could be a member of your family who says something that just crosses a boundary or is inappropriate or is hurtful. You have to set your own standards and stick to them. It's very hard to have a high standard when you don't feel good about yourself, when your sense of self-worth is in the toilet. But you have to recognize that people will treat you the way that you allow them to. So if you set such a low standard, that's all you're gonna get. So change it, raise the bar, and stop accepting less. Number 6, treat yourself with respect. I was always one who leaned into self-destruction when things fell apart, when I got broken up with or ghosted or whatever, or when things just weren't going my way. I would just hit that self-destruct button. I would starve myself or exercise compulsively or binge eat or party too much or be reckless with boys. I was just so unhealthy with my coping mechanisms. And I remember after one relationship fell apart, I think this was actually Kevin the Damage Case, who, if you guys are familiar with this channel, you know all about him. I started spiraling again. Like, that's what I did. That was my pattern. And I remember I was like, no, I'm not going to spiral this time. I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to be like George Costanza in the episode of Seinfeld where he's like, you know what? Everything goes wrong in my life. So I'm going to start doing the opposite of what I would do. And all of a sudden everything goes right in his life. So I was like, no, instead of being self-destructive, I'm going to be super healthy. I'm going to drink green juice every morning. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to be kind to myself. I'm going to take care of myself. And once I made that decision, started implementing it, my whole life changed. And it was within a year after that, that me and my now husband started dating. And I was in a completely different state of mind. And yes, I know you guys do want to hear the full story on that. It is coming. I will film a video on that because it's long overdue. Number 7, exercise. I'm including this because I actually asked you guys on my Instagram, what do you do to build your confidence and self-worth? And this was the most common answer I got because yeah, of course, like exercise is everything. Nobody comes home from the gym like feeling bad about themselves, you know? Like it feels good. Nobody ever regrets going to the gym. It produces endorphins. You challenge yourself. It's like a hard thing to do, like just motivating yourself to get to the point where you want to exercise, whether it's at home or whether it's at the gym. There is literally zero downside to it. The way to really get there, I mean, it's easy to say, yeah, exercise, okay. You have to make a plan and set aside a time and just do it. I mean, I really find that my most productive days are the days where I schedule out exactly what I'm going to be doing. Like, you slot in time for everything. If you make a schedule, slot in your exercise time, then that's your exercise time. No excuses, just do it. Number 8, get to know yourself. Journal, go to therapy, meditate, try new things, push yourself. How can you ever know your worth if you don't know yourself? It really starts there. It really starts with getting to know yourself. And it seems like, well, I know myself. Of course I know myself. We think we know ourselves, but we do not. We have no idea who we are. So really try to find a channel that works for you. I know journaling can seem annoying, seem like a chore, but you have to realize no one's reading this. This doesn't have to be the next great American novel. Just sit down and see what comes out. You will really be surprised. I think honestly, my most powerful writing has been coming out through journaling. There's something about when you don't try and you're not overthinking it, that the words just come out and it's just so eloquent. But you will discover new things about yourself. So really make an effort to try to do something that will help you get more in touch with who you are. Wow, we covered a lot of heavy stuff in this video. I really hope it was helpful. I'd love to hear from you in the comment section about things that you do to increase your feelings of confidence, increase your feelings of worth. If you want me to make more videos like this, I read all the comments. I try to respond to everyone, so definitely leave your thoughts down below. Follow me on Instagram at A New Mode, and be sure to subscribe to the A New Mode newsletter, anewmode.com/subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.